With this second generation NX, Lexus has brought us a strikingly styled premium mid-sized SUV that's unafraid to go its own way when it comes to cars of this kind. It's still one of the only models in the class that can't be ordered in diesel form, offering instead a beautifully refined and highly efficient petrol-electric hybrid powertrain, now available in PHEV plug-in as well as self-charging forms. If you're choosing in this segment, most of the magazines will tell you to buy something German. But if this revitalised NX appeals, you may well feel that you know better. And you could be right.
As you might already be aware, there are two distinct versions of the NX this time round, full hybrid or, as in this case, PHEV. Most will want the more affordable full hybrid self-charging 350h version with a powertrain that you can't plug in, but which can run fully electrically, independently of the combustion unit for some of the time. A formula still ignored by all this car's most direct crossover rivals. That drive format uses a re-engineered fourth generation hybrid system, retaining the previous 2.5 litre 4-cylinder format, but offering 24% more power, which means 241 bhp beneath your right foot. As before with a full hybrid NX, there's a choice between having a front-driven model or the all-wheel drive E4 version, which is slightly quicker, making 62 miles an hour from rest in 7.7 seconds. The all-wheel drive version gains its extra acceleration courtesy of the addition of a second electric motor driving the rear axle and producing a further 53 bhp. The 350h all-wheel drive model manages up to 47.9 mpg on the combined cycle and up to 133 grams per kilometre of CO2, which facilitates a benefit-in-kind tax rating of up to 32%. With the alternative NX 450h Plus plug-in variant we're trying here, which has to be had with the all-wheel drive system, total outputs raised to 305 bhp to compensate for the extra 180 kilo weight of the PHEV system's big 18.1 kilowatt-hour battery. That delivers an impressive potential EV driving range of up to 47 miles. Battery life you can replenish via a conventional 7.4 kilowatt garage wall box in around 2.5 hours. The 450h Plus offers a CO2 reading of up to 21 grams per kilometre and a BIK tax rating of just 8%. Whichever flavour of NX you prefer, this second generation model has been engineered to deliver what the brand calls its Lexus driving signature. A supposedly ideal combination of comfort and handling dynamics, apparently honed by professional racing drivers. You shouldn't get your hopes up too high here, but this does actually represent quite a step forward by Lexus standards. The reasons why lie with 30% more body rigidity from this Mark II model's newly acquired GAK chassis, plus 20% faster steering responses and a fresh suspension design, which as before can be had with AVS or adaptive variable suspension, adaptive damping if you opt for an F-Sport model. It's probably safe to say that the shape of this second generation NX will have wider appeal than its more individualistic predecessor. We just touched upon the visual perception of extra size. The increases aren't actually quite as great as they might first appear. 20mm of extra length and 5mm more height. The larger wheels, of course, contribute to that illusion. 18 to 20-inch rims now featuring. The front looks significantly more prestigious. The hallmark Lexus spindle grille, now frameless, more upright and more integral to the design. Its intricate mesh pattern made up of three-dimensional U-shaped blocks. Where this second-generation NX looks really different this time round, though, is at the rear, distinguished by smarter L-shaped LED lamp clusters and the signature blade-style full-width lighting, as first introduced on the smaller UX, and here emphasising this Mark II model's 20mm width increase and wider tracks. Inside, everything you're surrounded with feels deliberately modern and pretty high-end, all of it evidence of Lexus's growing confidence as a car maker. If the model you've chosen has been fitted out with this huge 14-inch Lexus Link Pro centre screen, that'll rather dominate your first impressions. It's a cloud-based setup, as in the lesser 9.8-inch Lexus Link Connect monitor you get with cheaper variants. and features proper Apple CarPlay or Android Auto smartphone mirroring and a much improved and more intuitive voice recognition system. This display flows into the 7-inch digital instrument binnacle you view through this lovely Takumi crafted 3-spoke wheel, now adorned on plusher models with touch-sensitive tracer switches which can tailor what you view on the available head-up display. Surrounding it all, there's lovely stitched leather, soft touch panels that kiss together, and supportive seats with a special deep hung construction that sits the upholstery seams deeper into the structure, helping the occupant maintain a better posture. Everything seems to fall more neatly to hand too, with exemplary ergonomics you'll appreciate without really understanding the detailed thought that's gone into creating them. There's plenty of cabin storage, and everything seems to have been faultlessly screwed together by the Japanese factory. Time to take a seat in the rear. Now, all the doors activate with the brand's latest e-latch electronic release system. With this, the handle's fixed, unlatching instead, activated by a little switch on its inner surface. Backseat passenger room hasn't been much enhanced by this second-generation model's slight increase in body length, but it's still reasonably competitive against the slightly larger premium rivals that Lexus now wants this Mark II NX to compete with. Audi's Q5, for instance, which feels a fraction smaller than this at the rear. That Q5 seat-based sliding function is missing here, but you can recline the seat backs. There's not a great deal of cabin width, but what you do get is embellished by the fact that the NX does without the kind of high centre transmission tunnel that features on most of its rivals. We'll finish with a look out back. Once everything's open, a 545-litre load space is revealed, 70 litres more than the previous generation model, thanks to a cargo area 40mm longer. Impressively, this plug-in version isn't compromised at all in this regard, unlike most of its segment rivals. When you push everything forward, for some reason, the seat's folded capacity is 84 litres less than before, and it still isn't quite flat. Still, the 1,436-litre capacity will be sufficient for most owners. Lexus needs the NX, and it needs it to do well. For that to happen, this car has to offer more, not because it's a dynamic duffer. The Lexus driving signature enhancements to this second-generation model have significantly improved the NX in that regard, but because this, predictably, is a car that's more about lowering the heartbeat than raising it. It's not perfect, but it's never boring, and in a market sector that's getting just that little bit stale, it's a breath of fresh air.